Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. I'm here to start the first tutorial for openElement. Some of the things I'm going to show you how to do in this today is going to be layout and initial setup. I'm going to go over the whole layout of the openElement, where all the buttons are, what a brief description of each and every button in the program, and show you how to do initial layout, the base layer of openElement, so you can be able to minimize the screen without having all the items overlap. If you didn't see my intro tutorial, this is the web page I designed with openElement. And there's a lot of people that are first getting this, and I had a frustrating time when I first got it that there was no tutorials, and I had spent a lot of time just figuring things out as I went, and so I decided to make this series. But the first option you get is open a new project or create a new one. We're going to create a new project, and then you get the option of using a template or not using a template. The templates are pretty set up. You could choose one if you like how it looks, the representation of how everything is placed in the page. If you want to alter it, you double click logo, type in your logo, double click all the names of the links and rename the links, then go to those pages and change those pages. I mean, that's all you really do is you alter the page, just how it's laid out. You alter all the different elements and create, make it your page. Now in this tutorial, we're not going to use a template, but I'm going to show you how to go through and alter every one of those. You're going to create and alter every element. So you can actually, once you understand how to do all of that, it's going to be real simple to go into one of those templates and just make it yours in about a day or two. Project name, you rename it what you want. My website, we'll call this one a test. Then we'll create it. Yes. And here's a basic layout of openElement. Okay. Now, you have save all pages. There's your two save icons that are also save all is right here. And under page, you have save. Then you have your undo and redo buttons. You have your refresh page, which is also hotkey F5 and right here under page. Preview F12, also right here under page as well. And then you have your settings, which is also preferences right here. And then you have your help, which is wiki, video tutorials, which are all in French. The wiki is definitely worth checking out. The forums, if you're new to openElement, I would definitely suggest signing up. There's some good people there. And then you can send an error report to openElement if there's a problem with your program. But the settings, you can actually change the skins to different colors if you'd like. That's just a little too bright for me. I usually have it on dark, but I'm going to do sharp so that way I think it's a little bit easier to see for the video purposes. Project, create a new project, open existing project, close the current project. Import your project, or you could open up the project folder. By default, it is My Documents, openElement, Backup Project, and Notes. Oops. Then you can create a new page. Real simple. You click it, you type in the new file name. So we're going to call it main layer, which we're going to go over with. We're going to mess with this in just a little bit. And then create that. And it creates a new tab. And that's how you create a bunch of pages. You'll end up with tabs all the way across here. Actually, with my website, every one of these links down here is a different page. So you can imagine how many tabs just layered across. And I have an arrow over here I have to click and move across all the different tabs. But also Site Explorer allows me to see all of them. I'm going to go over Site Explorer in just a minute. Alright, then you have your Save All. It saves all your pages just like up at the top, and your Close All, that closes all the current pages down to the start. Alright, Then you have your preferences. This is how you set up your publishing configuration and all of this stuff, and I will show that in the future tutorial. Resources. This is where your images, your videos, your audio, your flash animation, and other, which is stuff like icons. And you also have Fotilla. Um, Personally, haven't really used it, so it's got tons of photos in stock for free. That may be worth signing up for. I'm gonna have to check that out later. But I'll go over resources in just a little bit, show you how to add the images and how to optimize them for your web page. We'll go over all that in a little bit. HT access, we're going to go over this when we go over all the source coding and the coding of CryEngine, also some of the coding elements that they have are scripts. Favorite icon. These are the icons that are up here in the top tab, the top corner of your web page. You can have a favorite icon or you don't have to. It's all up to you. Recycle bin. It's exactly that if you delete a page. Now when you, hang on, let me make sure this page saves real quick. If you close a page, it doesn't hurt it. You go here to main layer, you can double click it and you reopen it. So that's another thing, is you delete this by actually right clicking and deleting the page, or hitting the delete button right here at the top of Site Explorer. So um, you can recover those from the recycle bin. Publish to web. That's so you, once you set the preferences, you push this button and it uploads your website to the internet. Or you can export it to folder, so you could use an external export file loader to the internet, like FileZilla, for example. Personally, I actually use a publish to web for in here. I'm using FileZilla to be able to work with a couple other websites to do. Page is paste, save. SEO information and optimize. I'm going to go over those in future tutorials. Basically, SEO is your search terms, your meta tags, but we'll go over all that. Refresh, F5, also up here at the top. Convert, that's how you convert a page to a layer. We're going to go over that in just a little bit. Zoom, zooms in on the page. Then you have right below that, you have grid. Now grid means as to how far the element moves when you move it side to side, and you can adjust it from 1 to 20 pixels. The pixels is not the screen resolution, it's a unit of measurement. A lot of people get that confused, and by default openElement uses a pixel measurement system. This is your layers. We'll go over those in just a little bit. Styles, we're going to go over page background and the frame in just a little bit, and then the links we're going to go over in a future tutorial. Responsive. This is how your web page responds to your background. Now stock, these pages have like a width of, it was like 1200 wide stock or something like that, 1200 pixels wide, but you can go 100% width, so it automatically widens wide enough for each monitor. But the way I set up the main page, I don't mess with it here. This is where you publish width, the same as the editor. That's, I just say leave it as same as editor. Publish height, you can go same as editor, or you can adapt to the content. Like if you're going to have a forum that would extend down and have people talking, you gotta have it adapt to the length of the content. So that's how you set up the publish width, the length of the whole pages. I mean, you could also just grab it and pull it down and pull it up and actually create the length of page you want. You have the body and then you have the footer down here. We'll go over all that later. Source code, again right here, features tutorial along with server scripts. We're going to go over that later. Your dictionary we're going to go over later as well in the future tutorials, all of these. Securing the page, actually it's going to be when we start up with packs, and we'll go over that in the future tutorial. And so you can secure a page and require a password, username and password to access the page. And then console, honestly, I have not even messed with, so I'll have to check it out later and make a future tutorial on it. You have preview and publish to web in two basic, pretty much is self-explanatory. You can choose Internet Explorer, Firefox. On another computer I use, there's Chrome down here. I don't know if it works with Safari or, oops, any of the other pages, or Explorers, I mean. But I know it does work with those three at least. Site Explorer, this is where you can explore each part of the page. You got the sitemap, you can check out the sitemap. I haven't set the SEO yet, so here's the sitemap of the page, but there's no links to them, so it's pretty much empty. Um, Layers, it's all this is done, but these right here, these are, I believe, external links. Yeah, those are services that you go, it takes you to the internet, and you can mess with those. Here's your resources, your recycle bin. It's right here in your database as well. Do your databases. We'll go all over this all in a much future time. Well, in the future tutorial, I mean. Element Explorer is an explorer of all the elements within this page. See, single line text is right here on main layer, but when I come to home, there is no single line text because it's only per page where the Element Explorer is. Alright, and on this side is the elements, packs, properties, and styles. Now my list of elements for some reason is upside down. I don't know how I did it, but typically you have standard at the top of the list while miscellaneous is at the bottom. I don't know how they got turned upside down. But these are the elements that you grab, you drag out, and they each have their function. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a tutorial on each section. So we're going to make a tutorial on all the standard, and we're going to go over each of these, and I'll show you what they all do, how to adjust them, how to change everything about them, how to adjust size and position and how to position them on the page, and also when we get to navigation, show you how to do the links, and then when we start getting into scripts, containers, groups are really useful, especially when it comes to sizing. But there's a lot of elements that they include stock, and there's also more that you can get. When you click more, it sends you to a page. There's, I believe, eight elements. They're the same elements that are between here and here, but you download these 8, and that's exactly what this one's a background slider. It keeps the screen as your content moves up and down, leaving the picture solid. So you want to get it, you hit download, you click it, you hit download. You've got to log in, and we'll do the login later. But yeah, you just log in. You create an account and then you log in. You could also create a element editor. This is so you can actually create an element if you do no scripting. Like I did say, scripting is not required in this, but it is very useful to know how to go in and do an actual HTML scripting, how to add properties, a string, floaters, know what each of these mean and do. Like I actually know what string, integer, float, and boolean are because I design video games. That's actually a part of the flow graph system I use in CryEngine. But like a lot of these, I can kind of figure them out, but I can't wait till I finish my courses with coding so I can be able to do that. Packs. Now this is something I actually just figured out last night, believe it or not. This is where you can do logins. Actual logins to web pages. Yeah, registered users, and it's real neat setup. I'm gonna make a whole tutorial, one on each of these. This right here is kind of like it's a like a not dictionary, but a database storage type deal. I don't know, I haven't quite exactly figured that one out, but I've got this all set up already on one of my websites, so I'll show you how to do all of that. Properties are the properties of either whatever you have selected, the page, or you can look at the properties of the single line text here. You can title it, you can name what the text is. So if somebody, you can actually have a text displayed by input. There's a lot of stuff that you can really do once you get into the more advanced features of this program. Learning how to manipulate using code. This, you can actually select the different type of text, all presets, colors, sizes, all that different fun stuff. Bullets, lines, I mean they have all kinds of stuff. But in the styles, what's really important is to customize. This is how you customize all the dimensions, the height, the width, the max height and width, based off of stretching. Then you have your borders. You can set up your margins, inner and outer. You can set up where it sits on the page. And see, as I move this around, it's going to change the distances. Now, because the page will stretch out and shrink in, you're going to have some elements that are not going to be, instead of having left distance, you're going to actually go 50 pixels on the right distance, and so that way it sticks to the right side and not to the left side. Because when the page stretches out and it's here and here, the page gets wider, it's going to still be here and here if they're all in left distance. But we'll go over all that in more detail later on. And actually, that's pretty much. Um, now we, that's right. Element style zones. This is different than this style. This is all distances and stuff like that. But here is where you got style presets. You can save. You got your upper content, your page footers. That's just your frames. And here's honestly, I haven't needed to mess with those yet. This right here, when you have this main page selected on the main frame element style, this is your base font. Now, I always suggest to preset up a type of font that you want. They come with only 8 fonts, but you could bring out add the font, import a file. You can go to free fonts right here, and it gives you a list of fonts. All you have to do if you want this one, you click it, done. And see, it automatically changes the stock font to that. It does, and it'll change anything that was originally the stock font over. If you have a custom like font, I'll show you how to do that in a little bit, it won't change those. But there's also download fonts from myfonts.com and fonts.com. I have not been on those. I don't know if they're free or not, but this is the type. I don't know. I haven't used that, and I haven't hit default. Size. This is the different sizes that it has an openElement. You can do a custom size, but typically I'll stick with these to make the script a little bit more simple. In my opinion, I'm thinking it may help it. I don't know if it actually does or not. Very small is 10 pixel, small is 13 pixel, medium is 16, large, I think it was 18, 24, and 32. I think that was right. Yeah, 18, 24, and 32. And those are the pixel sizes of each of the text. So you could, I mean, they have several different sizes. It kind of makes, if you make it pretty uniform, but you could also, if you highlight it, you double click in and you double click to highlight a particular portion and make it very large. So just have my single text line. But that's how you alter it too. I mean, you could actually have this right here, Italian, and we can actually make it Arial. So we'll do a very, very large. There. You can just change up the size, the styles like that. Real easy. So that's one of the cool things with openElement is everything's pretty simple. You select this element, it gives you, here's your, you also have a selection, single line text, foreground, background. I'll go over all of this when we start adding multiple items. Horizontal, vertical, this is if you want to center it. It keeps it centered horizontally, or this one keeps it centered vertically. So now it's completely centered, you can't move it. Alright, your width, your height for size, which is all also customizable in styles and customize. This is, like I said, this is going to be an important tab for you to work with because that gives you all the placement, how it's read also by the engines. Now background image. Now this is where we start getting into actually creating the base layer. So you can add an image, that's if you have something in your resources right here, which I'll go over in just a second. Background color, click the color and it pops the background color in. Now the color is customizable. You select edit color, which puts a circle right there. You drop down where it says color. Then you select whatever color you want. Let's say we'll go with a blue. Go a little bit lighter on it. And then you hit right here at color. And it puts that blue right there. Select it and you got your background color. So that's how you make custom colors. Is down here is you can make several different custom colors for your website. Or you could go with one of the presets as well, or the base. Or you could actually take the eyedropper tool and select the color too of any picture that you have. And you have a couple of different platelets, palette. I don't know. Here's a couple of different ones, so you can choose different colors by stock as well. Border. Oh, and repeat, this is to repeat the picture on the background image. You can have it repeat X and Y, repeat X, repeat Y. That's tiling the background image. In other words, if you only have a really small image, but you want that image to go repeat all the way across and all the way down, then you will repeat X and Y. That's how you do a tiling system like that. Borders. This is so you could create a border. You could go around the main page or you could go around an individual item. It's all to you. Um, you could choose the border, you choose the size, and then the color. And the color is exactly just like this. You can select the color system. It's all the same way. Spacing, inner and outer margins, again, right here. Also here in styles. And then more styles, which opens this. Store defaults, which I don't recommend hitting usually, because once you adjust all of it, you don't want to go back and have to readjust it again. This is frame editor. So you could adjust, you put a picture in it here, and then you can make the frame around the picture and get it all set up that way. And that's actually pretty much all the buttons and controls of it. So let's get into the layer. We'll finish this real quick and then I can start the next tutorial for you. File library. Now to add an image, you simply add other images. You go down, you select one, you hit OK. It brings the image in. That's all it takes. Now you can actually select the image. Oh, that's right, new folders. You can actually create folders and put several folders in here and actually, oh, what's it called? You could organize it, sorry. Organize all the different folders, all the pictures in the folders. That way there isn't just a line of 100 pictures in one main area. Background image, add, select the image, and we can add it right in. And that's how you just place a background image. Now we get a cool view of Saturn from Titan, I guess. I don't know. Oh wait, I don't want to do that. But so that's how you create the background image. What we're going to do is we're going to go with just a basic color though for background. We're going to remove the image. That way there's not too much going on at one time. But what we're going to do is we're going to set this background, this layer basically. Now whenever it goes with the units of measurements it's pixels, but you can select these arrows on the side and it brings down a whole new menu. You can select pixels, go percentage, inches, centimeters, millimeters, and two other, I don't really know what they are, I'll be honest. I've left it with pixels. I've just gotten used to the unit of measurement. Um, for example, about most of your cell phones and tablets are about 800 pixels wide. So as far as width and distances, I mean, you have your cell phones that are like 320 and your tablets are like 800. I'm doing 850 with a minimum width, and then I'll put auto on the width. Now, you could also just bring the drop down menu and click auto as well. What that means is the page will automatically stretch out to the width of the monitor, and then also at the same time will drop down to a minimum of 850 pixels wide. That's exactly what happens right here. It's dropped down to 850 pixels wide and it increases to full size. Now if I were to pull the screen inward and just bring a menu, or a bar at the bottom, it wouldn't drop it down anymore. And that's exactly what would happen with this page now. And so what we do is we take the page, we save it. And what I do here is I'll take this and hit convert to convert to layer under page tab. You convert the page into the layer? Yes. What it does is it calls it copy. I close it, rename. Now it's main layer. Double click. Now we got gray background. Um, just to show you how the layer works, come up here. Title company. We go very, very large. And then we hit save. We go over here to home page. We click main layer and automatically makes it here. Now you have to open the layer. You can't move this, you can't alter it, you can't do anything with it in this because it's just a layer to this main page. And it's all background too. So to bring this out, it's actually going to go, let me, see the red sits over the top of the black. And that's because the title company logo is in the background. Yeah, this is actually the color of the text. So if you have a black background, you can actually have a white text. But by default, it's white. Sorry, I didn't explain that. But this is how you do a base layer. And so we can save the page. And if I was to come over here and put in a single line text, and I hit save, I go over here to home page, it automatically puts it in. So anything you alter to the base layer automatically puts it in. So on my website, I don't know why I closed it. What I have is all this is in the base layer. And so if I was to add in another page, I'd add another link right here, and then I apply it on the base layer, and it updates every web page on my on this entire website. because every single page has this at the bottom, even all the vacuums. It's a so that's one great thing about the layers, and you can have multiple layers. Actually, what I'm gonna do is open up my project here. Okay, so I have my main website. Now here's my base layer. This is all that's in my base layer. So I got background, I got my image, I got my phone number, and then I got a couple of lines that go around, which is right here. And see, this is also a layer. Base vac is a layer, but base is the layer of base vac, which is, if that makes sense. You can actually layer base layers, or all the, so you can actually layer all the layers, if that makes sense. But that's one of the cool things about it. Go back to base, anything I alter in this one will alter up the upper ones and will alter every page as well. And so that's, as you can see, everything's all preset in distances. Oh yeah, the base. And you can't alter the dimensions of the main page because it's all inside base layer. It's all preset. 850 and auto. Height is auto. And actually right now the height is just set, so I grab it and move it up and down. No, I'd rather not say that. And so that's actually just pretty much the basics of setting up a page and setting up the layers. And so in the next tutorial we're going to start going over all the elements, all the things that you could do. Oh yeah, and see, here you go. Here's a bunch, all the different stuff that you download. It comes in orange. Like I said, on mine I have them all downloaded. Where's that one where the picture automatically slides? There you go, background slider. I forgot to show you where that ends up when you download it. But until the next tutorial, happy building.